Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, I'm happy to say, joins me in the flesh. Very good to see you, sir.
Hey, Neil, thanks for having me.
Do you pay attention to the markets much, your colleagues, when you look at sort of a confirmation of the hard work you're doing versus not a confirmation?
In the macro, it is a confirmation. We can see that since President Trump took office, the stock market has done great. And you can see that reflected in record low unemployment for African Americans and for Hispanics. You pay attention to that. Day-to-day fluctuations, not so much.
All right. So when you see these polls that show a double-digit gap favoring Democrats and a sort of a macro midterm election romp up, does that worry you?
Well, you are heavily weighted towards states like California and New York,
right,
if they're going to compare across the board. And
it's a district by district.
But if you go district by district, there's going to be some states, for example, in Missouri, where the president is very popular and we have a strong Republican senatorial candidate. So you can't look at the macro in that case. You have to look at more of the state and the district. I think that's where you learn your lessons.
So you're in the Senate. Of course, there is concern the House goes Democrat. Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't know that. I think that the longer we allow those tax cuts to kick in and the other parts of the president's agenda, for example, to lower drug cost or otherwise lower health care cost, the more folks will like that agenda. And as that happens, I think things change for Republicans.
All right. There's so many wild cards here. For one thing, just letting those tax cuts sink in. And you're quite right. I think even among independents, there's a more favorable view of those tax cuts than going in. It still remains to be seen how that pans out in individual districts. What happened in Pennsylvania last week is adding fuel to concern fire in your party that it's not helping. You think eventually it will.
So the last 8 years have been one of economic dislocation, families not doing well. You don't just turn that on a dime.
Yeah.
And I think there was a hope that it could. It hasn't. Things are better. Look at consumer confidence, doing fantastic. But still, folks were hopeful that things could change more immediately. Secondly, if you look at who voted for whom, working class folks still continue to vote for the Republican. It was the college educated. To be frank, the president's had an issue with suburban women. You may be seeing a little bit of that play out in that PA 18. But I do think that as the economy continues to improve, there will be a upswell for Republican candidates.
You mentioned the president. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about his latest tweets, particularly going after Bob Mueller, who's investigating him and potential Russian ties. Are you concerned that he is seriously contemplating firing the guy?
I will not pretend to be inside President Trump's mind, but I think it would be a mistake. So far, his legal staff has thoroughly cooperated with Mr. Mueller. He's behaving like a fellow in terms of cooperation, as one who is innocent. It continues to drag on. I'm sure he's frustrated. If Mueller goes, somebody else is there. I think he should let it play, and he insists he's innocent and let that come out.
Do you ever get a sense that Mueller is widening this probe to the Trump organization, to looking at his business practices long before he announced for president, that much like the Ken Starr investigation, that first of all looked into real estate transactions and all that and ended up being about an intern and an affair, that this is going in a whole nother direction?
You do have a sense that it's broadening, but I don't have a sense that it has broadened as widely as that.
I see.
So, again, not pretending to be inside that investigation, but I think the important thing is the president insists upon innocence. The American people would like to see the process play. I think we should allow it to play out.
But if you could advise the president on tweeting about it or naming Bob Mueller, you would say what?
I would say let the process play out. But the president has not been taking my advice on his tweeting for the last year and a half.
And he might not now.
He might not now.
Let's talk a little bit about the budget situation right now. You want to get this whole health care thing under control and maybe take another stab at it, but a different stab at it. Explain.
So we need to lower health care costs. We need to lower pharmaceutical costs. And one thing we've been promoting is so-called price transparency. Someone should know the cost of a procedure or you name it before she has it done, as opposed to finding out 6 months later. It should be like going online to buy a plane ticket, where you know the date and the time you wish to fly and where you wish to go, and you log on, you find the best price. It should be they order a CT scan for your daughter's abdomen, and you log on and you say, I can go here for $250 Thursday at midnight, or go right now for $2,500. I'll stay up Thursday at midnight and get my child's x-ray then. It can happen. It is happening already. And price transparency, for example, for LASIK surgery has been associated. People pay cash. They ask for the price. The price has come down. The quality has improved. We can do that in other areas besides just LASIK surgery.
What kind of reception have you been getting?
So far, we've sent a letter. We got 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. Ed Perlmutter, a Democratic congressman from Colorado, is introducing a bill on the House side. We have a bill teed up on the Senate side. United Health Insurance just came out and said they were going to start giving what are called point-of-sale rebates, a form of price transparency for their folks buying drugs when they're within their deductible. Secretary Azar and Scott Gottlieb, FDA commissioner, have both spoken in favor of either the direct concept or an associated concept. We think it is an idea whose time has come.
Very interesting. Senator Bill Cassidy, very good seeing you in the flesh.
Thank you very much, Neil. Appreciate it.